Alright, I'm back, and I'm Wombat, and this is my Beyblade channel, and today we're going to be doing a review on Tornado Wyvern 4Glaive Atomic. Probably one of the best stock Beyblades released in the God series, and this is like one of the points where Beyblade Burst made its like whole pay-to-win scheme incredibly evident, just because this was a random booster prize, came with this great driver Atomic, and the only way to get it was in that random booster, and still the only ways to get it are in that random booster, or by buying this $50 4-pack, which is worth it in my opinion, but like, it's still hard to get such a great part. It also came with, at the time, was the best disc setup in the game. So, and it was already in like low supply because of the random booster thing, so it like got jacked up to like $60+ just for this one Beyblade. And if like it wasn't already pay to win enough with the teeth wear and the perfect balance and all that, this just made it worse. So up first is the layer, Tornado Wyvern. I really wish this thing would work. I've always liked the Wyvern series just because it has a cool design. One of my favorite colors, purple. And I've always had a thing for free spinning gimmicks too, and it finally has that in the layer. It has like little sub-attack ring like Galleon did back in the day. Another one of my favorite Beyblades just because of the free spinning gimmick, but unfortunately its teeth are pretty bad. So not even using like a tight God chip or like a super burst resistant setup will save it from bursting very often. And what is it? Its stamina isn't too great either. It'll get outspun by things like Neptune or Odin, even like older layers that aren't God Bays. And because of the free spinning gimmick, some people thought it could have like a just like a niche use as a Drain Fafnir counter, because that was Drain Fafnir and Tornado Wyvern were actually released simultaneously. So people were thinking like, oh yeah, maybe the free spinning can stop it from spin stealing, but that didn't actually work. It can like, depending on the setup, it can tie with it sometimes, but it usually ends up losing in the long run. So overall, not a great layer, even though it looks pretty good. The disc at the time, 4Glaive was I said it was the best disc setup at the time, just because I can't remember if 4 was the heaviest disc or if like 6. No, 4 is definitely heavier than 6. I can't remember if it's the heaviest disc, but it had like the most stamina out of all the core discs. And Glaive was also the best life after death frame in left spin, and people thought in right spin for a while, even though cross was secretly better the whole time. But 4Glaive is a pretty passable like life after death setup even in right spin, and even better in left spin. So things like, literally all you need to buy was Tornado Wyvern and Drain Fafnir, and you'd be set for like a month and a half, probably even more. You could just spam Drain Fafnir 4Glaive Atomic and win tournaments. But yeah, at this point 4 has been outclassed in most instances by 7. 5 is better than it in some cases. 0 may or may not be better than it. 0 is definitely heavier, but I think 0 seems to have like bad same spin stamina compared to 7. I haven't tested against 4 yet, so I wouldn't know about that. But 4 is not as good as it used to be, is the point I'm trying to make here. 7 is most likely a better choice in almost any scenario. And Glaive is still useful, but its usefulness is going down now that things like Bearing are taking over for opposite spin matchups, and that usually prefers Bump or just 7 without a frame, because that'll either allow it to like transition smoothly into life after death from procession, or just lower the center of gravity with Bump so much it doesn't even fall over in the first place. And then Atomic. This was like the driver everyone wanted for the longest time, just because it's a bigger orbit with this extra life after death ring around it. And it not only has like great solo spin time, great same spin stamina, it also had the best life after death for the longest time in Burst, the best easily obtainable. Well, I say that loosely, I guess. Yeah, the best normal release life after death until Nightmare Longinus came out and Destroy was released. Octa could beat it, but like Octa was only, you have like a 1 in 1,000 chance of winning Octa. Apparently someone actually calculated it. So, and it's like $600 on its own, so no one's gonna have Octa aside from like 3 people. But anyways, Atomic, so you'd think Atomic was the best driver in the game for a while, but they've noticed that Atomic has a weaker spring in most cases than other drivers. Like Orbit has a tighter spring, Defense and Revolve both do. Like other stamina drivers have tighter springs than Atomic does, which will make it easier to burst in some setups. So that's kind of the trade-off for using like the tip that's not only the best in same spin but in opposite spin. And I think it would still outspin Destroy in same spin, but that's not really something I've tested too extensively. But yeah, Atomic also transitions really well into Polish, Cross and right spin, Glaive and left spin. Not so much Bump. Let's see what else. Maybe Under. I haven't tried Under with Atomic yet. But either way, it's kind of, I don't want to say outclassed. It's fallen into like not as popularity with things like Destroy and Bearing, which will both beat it in opposite spin. Bearing will beat it in same spin. And if you want to like avoid bursting, you'll want to use, I guess, Orbit or Revolve instead. So it's like fallen out of super popularity, but it's not a bad driver by any means. Still top tier. I actually like using it on Sieg Excalibur 2 Cross Atomic because it'll have like some good life after death and also some nice attack. So even if you don't like KO or burst an opposite spin thing, you still have a chance of outspinning it. And then overall, Tornado Wyvern 4Glaive Atomic. It's like I said, it's probably one of the best stock Beyblades in Beyblade Burst God. I don't think it's worth like the ridiculously overinflated price. I think you can get all the parts that would be worth you can get like a whole Tornado Wyvern in the God custom set, I'm pretty sure. So like, unless you want like the anime accurate colors, I would skip the random booster version and just get the God custom set, because I think you get all the parts to make a whole Tornado Wyvern in there for probably less price, or about the same price as just this one Beyblade would. So get the God custom set instead, unless that becomes super expensive and this gets cheaper. But yeah, that is all. I think next is actually I want to say Alter Chronos for Killer Death Scyther. But I will see you guys then.